Now, with Mr. McEwen's permission, I'll show you how to select a great story for the screen. There you are.
Excellent choice. Finding a great story for the screen is easy if it's there, and if some other studio hasn't bought it first. But there are very few novels ready-made for the screen like Saratoga Trunk.
Speaking as an actor, when you find another one like it, let me be the first to know.
I will, Gig. That's what all good actors say. Find me a great story. But in writing, as in the other creative arts, there's no pat formula for success. Powerful characters, unusual plots, colorful locales, they mean very little without that one intangible ingredient that makes a story appeal to a mass audience.
And in the picture business, you have to guess that one in advance.
Far in advance. We have 50 writers here at Warner Brothers, some of them working on stories that won't be filmed for 2 or 3 years. Our writers' building is filled with talent and temperament. The boys themselves call it the ward. Each one in his office, alone with his typewriter, some paper, and what we all hope is the story basis for a picture that will please millions. Here is John Lee Mann, one of the all-time champions in the screenwriting game. John is adapting the current Broadway hit play, The Bad Seed. Meet Byrne Lay Jr., the author of Strategic Air Command, going over his day's work with director Mervyn LeRoy. Byrne is a colonel in the Air Force Reserve and is now writing on another great air story called Toward the Unknown. When two writers work together, they're called a team. The pacer is Ben Roberts, the eraser is Ivan Goff. They're collaborating on the screenplay of James Cain's famous novel, Serenade, to star Mario Lanza. Stage plays, novels, original stories, they're all grist to the mill. But you know where we find many of our best originals.
In the newspapers.
Real life. That's what audiences always have preferred. I'm a fugitive from a chain gang. This really happened to a real person. G-Men. This shows gangsters as they really were. The Life of Emile Zola, the real story of a real man. And the forerunner of them all, the first true story ever put on the screen. The Diary of the American Ambassador to Imperial Germany. For you viewers under 45, the fellow with the handlebar mustache is Kaiser Wilhelm. Warner Brothers made this picture 37 years ago, a reflection of the times and conditions that led America into World War I. Sure, the picture flickers, the acting could be improved, but the storytelling technique hasn't changed one bit. Then, as now, Warner Brothers found their most arresting stories in the headlines. Here's the inspiration for the picture we saw together last night.
Wait a minute, Walter. Rebel Without a Cause isn't about slum kids.
No, but slum kids started the thinking. Nicholas Ray, the director, David Weisbart, the producer, and two writers, Stuart Stern and Irving Shulman, worked on the idea for weeks. And suddenly they made a discovery. They found that there was a part of the teenage story that not even the newspapers had told. No one had told it.
Oh, how did they find out about it?
I'll show you. They looked out of a window. And what did these fellows see? Nice homes, very respectable. And nice kids, well clothed. No slum kids here, but beneath the surface,
trouble. Plenty of it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now watching a scene from Rebel Without a Cause. This is a drag race, otherwise known as a chicken run. It has nothing to do with chickens or with racing. It has to do with kids, nice kids. Shortly, you will see two of them drive two cars toward the edge of a high cliff. Object, to stay with the car longer than the other fellow, but not too long.
Hey, Tori Lure. She signals, and we head for the edge. And the first man who jumps is a chicken. All right?
The question is, what makes kids from nice homes do things like this?
Hit your line!
What are they looking for? What drives them? What has hurt them? That's the story of Rebel Without a Cause. It really happened. And now the star of our picture. Ladies and gentlemen, James Dean. Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Gig.
We asked Jimmy over today because he's a racing man himself. A real one, not a crazy one. Incidentally, I think I should explain that Jimmy just stepped over from the set of Giant. And need I add, he plays a Texan. Speaking of racing, have you ever been in a drag race?
Are you kidding me?
I just thought I'd ask. No, Jim races in the tradition, you might say. Real racing cars, real tracks. How fast will your car go?
Oh, an honest miles an hour. Clocked. It can run about 106, 7.
You've won a few races, haven't you?
Oh, 1 or 2.
Where?
Well, I showed pretty good at Palm Springs. I ran at Bakersfield.
Jimmy, we probably have a great many young people watching our show tonight, and for their benefit, I'd like your opinion about fast driving on the highway. Do you think it's a good idea?
A good point. I used to fly around quite a bit, you know. I took a lot of unnecessary chances on the highways. And I started racing, and now I drive on the highways. I'm extra cautious, because no one knows what they're doing. Half the time, you don't know what this guy's going to do with that one. On a track, there are a lot of men who spend a lot of time developing rules and ways of safety. And I find myself being very cautious on the highway. I don't have the urge to speed on the highway. People say racing is dangerous, but I'll take my chances on the track any day than on a highway. Well, Gig, I think I'd better take off.
Oh, wait a minute, Jimmy. One more question. Do you have any special advice for the young people who drive?
Take it easy driving. The life you might save might be mine. You know?
And thanks also to story executive Walter McEwen for telling us how today's headlines helped create an absorbing motion picture. We hope when you see Rebel Without a Cause at your favorite theater, that this glimpse behind the cameras of how a story was born will help you enjoy the picture more. I'll be back in a moment to tell you about next week's Behind the Cameras.